if you win this one, you absolutely 100% have qualified for BlizzCon, whereas if you lose, you still have to fight out in that third place match. So the gates are just about to open here. We will see Luminosity versus Tempo Storm. A little bit of a rematch here, but it's going to be game 1 of this series.
Yeah, right away, Peekaboo, Jamili, and Starship all using their stealths to get in and get an ideal opener here. Peekaboo waiting to move in, gets the full sap onto Vanguard. Cheap shot onto Maldiva. Danny Carey just sitting in stealth as long as possible. Pops that Iron Bark and throws it as many Trents as possible to get some healing onto Maldiva before going into the Deep Sheep. So very well done by him. Knows immediately he's going to be put into crowd control and sort of prevents that damage and gets some healing onto Maldiva.
Yeah, and I really liked how Maldiva was hiding by the other pillar, knowing that his portal was at this one and that his portal was going to be inside that healing mushroom from his healer Danny Carey, so that way, as soon as he saw that Danny Carey was in a lot of trouble, he said, okay, I'm just going to port out of here, and I will immediately get some healing automatically by having gone over there. It actually looks like Luminosity is doing a great job so far of dealing with this initial pressure. There were a lot of offensive cooldowns, not all of them, but a lot of offensive cooldowns were used already by Tempo Storm, and Luminosity actually just did a great job of dealing with that initial damage.
Yeah, that was the first Demon Soul of Maldiva. Wasn't able to accomplish too much there. Starship still has all his defensive cooldowns available to go, but this RMD is having a very hard time getting something going. Maldiva is down to 60% HP. Danny Carey not on any CC, throws out all 3 of his strengths, has Maldiva fully hot, and I think he's going to be completely fine for now. Iron Bark is going to be coming up again. Jamili actually getting Iron Bark from Starship there under a lot of pressure. Still does have both those ice blocks available and ready to go, but the way Demonology works is Maldiva is going to be building up his Demonic Fury, and as he gets more and more Demonic Fury, he's going to be able to put out a lot more damage. But Maldiva getting down to 30% HP, Danny Carey into the full Deep Freeze. He does have Trinket, the half kidney ready to go, put into that full blind. He's going to need to Trinket this. Gets put into the triple DR bash, but got that Iron Bark up on Maldiva, and I think because of that, he's going to survive. Starship getting pressured down a lot too, uses that Bark Skin, Trinket, and NS, so Starship has no more cooldowns remaining, and Maldiva has another Demon Soul available. Yeah, that was actually a great play there by Danny Carey. Of course, Maldiva now in a lot of trouble, though. Gonna try and get over here out of line sight, but Danny Carey caught in that full Cyclone. He does not have a Trinket available. Maldiva could be in a lot of trouble right here. Catches a heal from somewhere. It must have been Vanguard's actually healing him up there. Now caught into the Smoke Bomb, and that's just gonna be it. Too much damage coming out from Team Tempo Storm, and so much CC on the Danny Carey. He did such a great job. So looking forward to this matchup. Tolvaron Arena is going to provide Maldiva, Vanguards, and Danny Carey a little bit more room to pull back. Peekaboo, Jamili, and Starship still probably going to be dictating the pace of this game. If they can land their crowd control on point, then everything will go forward. But the gates have opened. Peekaboo already pushing in. Jamili is in that invisibility right now. Starship in stealth. Peekaboo looking to get that opener, the Shroud of Concealment coming out, delaying the opener a little bit longer. Sap going out onto Vanguard, cheap shot onto Maldiva, and he is the target of choice once again. Maldiva doing the exact same strategy, or sorry, Danny Carey doing the exact same strategy, throwing out that Iron Bark and triple Trance, but Starship getting pressure down right away, having to use Bark Skin as well as Iron Bark immediately on himself, so well done by Luminosity to force some cooldowns onto Tempo Storm.
Yep. Just as a quick aside, we recognize that the score is actually wrong. It is actually Tempo Storm that's up 1-0 versus Luminosity. We're not quite sure how to actually switch that around yet, but we will get that figured out here as soon as possible. But it is 1 game up for Tempo Storm. Luminosity is actually down one game in this series. But anyway, getting back into this game, Danny Carey now getting caught into a whole bunch of CC over here. Maldiva just having to run for his life, and this is why Tolvaron, I think, is such a great choice. With these much larger pillars, it actually gives him a lot more opportunity to get out of the way and look off to the side like this.
Yeah, Peekaboo taking a little bit of pressure right now. The full Cyclone going out onto Vanguards. Excellent job by Starship, Jamili, and Peekaboo. To put out that crowd control right away. Peekaboo caught into a full clone by Danny Carey, so both Druids doing an excellent job throwing out that crowd control this game. Jamili in the middle of the map sort of turning out some damage, building up those icicles. Maldiva popping that Demon Soul, trying to get out some pressure onto Peekaboo. They're actually swapping over onto him, but Starship doing a great job throwing out that Iron Bark. And I mean, if we look at the cooldowns, Danny Carey and Starship both have their Trinket available and ready to go. The off kidney going on to Danny Carey if Jamili can get that follow-up polymorph, but Peekaboo actually sapping out of his kidney shot. Well done by him. Maldiva doing a good job kiting around from Peekaboo, so they weren't able to actually get that much damage out onto him.
Yeah, Maldiva looking like he may be in a lot of trouble here. Danny Carey now getting caught into that polymorph. It's only a short one, though. He may actually be able to just survive through this, get some hots back up. Maldiva caught into that full kidney shot, but it doesn't actually look like it matters because the CC is just not there onto Danny Carey right now. A great cross Cyclone onto Starship, preventing those Cyclones from coming out, as well as that stun from the pet of Maldiva, which is a great, I don't know that we've talked about it too much yet, but that's a great way to help diffuse the CC chain from from the RMD is that when everyone on Luminosity is CC'd, even if the pet is still out, he can throw out a stun and trip up Tempo Storm. So it's going to be really interesting to see if they can continue to use that as this match continues. Of course, Danny Carey right now stuck into a very long deep freeze. Maldiva now into this kidney shot, could be in a lot of trouble. The blind comes out onto Danny Carey, he trinkets that immediately. Maldiva just taking so much damage right now, but they're able to hang on to so many defensive cooldowns, and now they're trying to turn it back around. The smoke bomb comes out from Peekaboo. They're trying to put some damage into, I'm not actually sure who exactly they're going after at the moment. Maybe Peekaboo. Peekaboo with that Shadow Dance active, but he does get rooted right away, which is going to slow that down a little bit. Now the Iron Bark comes out onto Maldiva. Danny Carey into that full stun, followed up by a Polymorph. Maldiva could be in some trouble here as that full Cyclone comes out as well. He's trying to get over here out of line of sight, just trying to get away. He does get a nice Shadow Fury off, and that Shadow Fury was huge right there, shutting down the offensive pressure from both Jamili and Peekaboo, and Jamili has to ice block.
Yeah, the first ice block coming out of Jamili. Starship still doesn't have that trinket up for another 16 seconds. That smoke bomb earlier actually saving Starship's life. It was a defensive smoke bomb onto Starship. Maldiva still in a lot of trouble, though. Danny Carey into that full Polymorph. This could just be the game. They want to finish it off, get up 2-0 in this series, but Maldiva doing an excellent job kiting. Danny Carey gets out of some CC for a second, caught into that full deep freeze. This might just be the game. The full Cyclone comes out. Maldiva cannot get away. He's trying to counter pressure the best he can. The gouge comes out on that Demon Bolt, but somehow, some way, with the off heels of Vanguards, Maldiva survives for now. The Demon Soul coming out onto Starship, but the kidney shot on Maldiva is going to shut down that damage, and Starship is going to be able to retreat and heal himself up.
Yeah, absolute hero move there by Vanguards, getting some extremely important, like, game-saving heals out onto Maldiva, just long enough for that CC chain to finish up on Danny Carey, and he managed to get the Iron Bark out onto him. Now looking like Jamili may be in some trouble over here. He's caught into these offensive Cyclones, keeping him from getting those heals from Starship. Unfortunately, they do not have the follow-up CC onto Starship, so he's going to be able to get out of there, catch some heals, and get caught back up again. But in the meantime, Maldiva is getting these Demon Bolts off. He gets locked on his cast of that Demon Bolt. It looked like he had actually a really scary one on the way there for just a second, and that was a well-timed lock on that. And now the kidney shot onto Danny Carey, silence onto Maldiva, Ring of Frost onto Danny Carey. Maldiva could be in a lot of trouble here. He actually gets caught into the Ring of Frost himself by porting over, but that gets him out of line of sight just enough for Danny Carey to get a few more all-important heals off.
Yeah, Peekaboo is going to have his blind up. Danny Carey did trinket the last blind, and now that he's trinketed not the blind, he's going to have that available. So the next CC chain could be devastating for Danny Carey if he gets deep throws into a sheep, into a blind. They'll have a lot of time and a lot of opportunity to put damage out onto Maldiva. Jamili, though, taking a little bit of pressure, getting healed up by Starship quite easily. If we look at the mana of both of these healers, Danny Carey at around 65% mana, Starship at 33%, but the Axe Toss going out onto Jamili, full fear onto Starship. They might be able to force another block here out of Jamili. Danny Carey throwing out that preemptive ice block onto Maldiva, to prevent some of that incoming damage. Maldiva doing everything he can right now to build up those Demon Bolt stacks. And if he gets them high enough with that Demon Soul, they might be able to kill. There's the full blind, though, onto Danny Carey. Maldiva caught into that full kidney. Vanguard's caught into a Polymorph. He trinkets. He needs to help his team survive this moment. Danny Carey caught into the sap out of that. There's a lot of CC, though, coming out from Temple Storm onto Danny Carey. Maldiva down to 40% HP, pops his heals. Danny Carey able to get that NS off as well. That was the Nature's Vigil, so Maldiva might be able to survive, but at what cost?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of cooldowns used there to keep Maldiva alive, but now he's turning it around, trying to get these Demon Bolts off. He's been trying to cast them all game and just constantly getting locked, and now he's out of that Metamorphosis form, going right back into it, trying to get the Demon Bolts off yet again, but the stun comes out, and now he's caught into that Smoke Bomb. Can he keep up this pressure? They're doing an amazing job of keeping him alive through all of this damage coming out from Tempo Storm, but how long can they keep it up? He's jumping away in that Metamorphosis form, just doing his best to continue kiting as long as they possibly can, and it's kind of working for them. They've had a few opportunities so far to be able to maybe try and turn it around a little bit. Unfortunately, Jamili now has both of his ice blocks available yet again, so they're going to have to work through a lot of defensive cooldowns on Tempo Storm if they want to be able to score a kill.
Yeah, Jamili pushing in with the deep freeze sheep onto Danny Carey. Maldiva caught into that kidney shot. This is a full Polymorph. Danny Carey trinkets the second it comes up and throws that Iron Bark out onto Maldiva. He might end up surviving this. I don't think they're going to have any more CC for Danny Carey, but now he doesn't have trinkets for another full 2 minutes. And like we said, Peekaboo does have that blind available. They're going to have that extra long CC chain that Danny Carey isn't going to be able to get out of. But Maldiva pops that Demon Soul, gets full polymorphed on it. Well done by Jamili, trying to control that Demon Soul the best he can. Peekaboo has that Iron Bark right now. Starship just pulling back in full retreat. They know they're not going to get a kill with this setup. They're just waiting, ready to go for the next deep freeze. And there it is, the full deep freeze onto Danny Carey. Gets the full Ring of Frost. Maldiva in a lot of trouble. He has no heals available. All he has is Trinket, but I don't think it's going to be enough. We could see some follow-up CC onto Danny Carey. Maldiva down to 5% HP. The DR gouge coming out onto Danny Carey. Maldiva somehow alive. The NS coming out from Danny Carey onto Maldiva. Danny Carey gets fully cloned though by Starship, and Maldiva's going to go down. And Temple Storm is going to take game 2 up 2-0 in this series, just 1 away from qualifying for BlizzCon.
Yeah, I mean, that was an incredible job by Luminosity, just living as long as they did through that matchup of Vanguards and Danny Carey. They're playing it out. Now they're just going to go Sewers, which is like the polar opposite of Tolvaron in terms of map design. This is a much smaller, much more compacted map, so we'll have to see if this choice works out for them.
A key part of this match that's going to be different than the rest is Maldiva actually changed his spec. He's now playing Howl of Terror, kind of an unconventional spec, but he doesn't really need the Shadow Fury. Every time he wants to get those casts off now, he can just Howl of Terror, the Rogan Mage, especially on a smaller map like this, and it might free him up. Like right away, Peekaboo and Jamili both getting Howl of Terror. Jamili trinketed, Starship able to dispel Peekaboo, but they're already able to get out some pressure right away with that instant cast Fear, and that might make a big difference in this matchup.
Yeah, they've actually already pulled out the Iron Bark from Starship onto Jamili. They're able to put a little bit of pressure onto him right away. No cooldowns yet used for Luminosity. However, Maldiva is taking a lot of damage right now. He does get stuck into that offensive Cyclone. It's going to keep him at low health and prevent him from getting healed. Now a follow-up Cyclone onto him. Danny Carey caught into that Deep Freeze, and the Smoke Bomb goes down as well. Maldiva could be in some trouble here. We may see some cooldowns coming out from Danny Carey. Maldiva just jumping over to him, getting stuck into that Garrote. Danny Carey in that Ring of Frost as well. He does actually use his Trinket there, as well as now the Iron Bark is coming out onto Maldiva, so that is several cooldowns. Ooh, he actually used the Nature Swiftness as well. That's several cooldowns that have now come out from Danny Carey, which is not how they want to start out this game.
Yeah, Maldiva also used his Dark Regen, so they're basically operating on no defensive cooldowns whatsoever, and I'm pretty sure Peekaboo still has his blind available. Starship, Jamili actually used an offensive block there, so already down 1 block, but he knows they can go offensive. This is the full Deep Sheep onto Danny Carey. Maldiva could be in a lot of trouble. Temple Storm wants to win this game. This is the game that's going to carry them forward to BlizzCon. Maldiva trying to escape, trying to do anything he can. Down to 15% HP. The DR Bash, though, going out onto Danny Carey. Maldiva doing an excellent job surviving, but the full Garrote and the full clone, and that's going to be the game. Temple Storm's going to take it. They're going to BlizzCon, and Luminosity has gone down to the losers bracket where they have to fight for their lives.
Yeah, they will be going down.
Now, probably one of the most iconic raids of all time, and one of the most story relevant. Now, Icecrown Citadel was the final raid in Wrath of the Lich King, and also the fortress of the Lich King himself, which was the main villain at the time. Now, in my opinion, this is the only raid and maybe the only expansion so far where you actually had a feel you were fighting the Lich King, and that he was a direct threat to the world, and that every action against Artist kinda made an effect. So it was something completely different. You really just had this feel you were fighting a greater evil, and there was an actual threat to the world. It wasn't just like in Cataclysm. Even though, for example, Deathwing was amazing, he still wasn't that much of a threat, even though lore-wise he was. But in Wrath of the Lich King, there was just this feel about it with Arthas, and the Icecrown Citadel was the peak of it. Now, just entering the Icecrown Citadel was amazing. You had all these giant skeletons and spiders defending the entrance, and then just like with Karazhan, you had this multiple floor thing, which leads to the final encounter, and that was the Lich King. Now, this isn't just a regular raid or just like a minor boss. This is Arthas, I mean the one who destroyed the entirety of Lordaeron and took over Northrend, and made the Scourge to what it was, pretty much a major threat to the entire world and a force of its own, completely splitting apart from the Burning Legion. Now, ever since Warcraft 3, the story has just been building up, so it finally can be finished in this raid, and once you get to the top, you actually had the feeling you were at the top of the world and at the throne of the Lich King, the evil himself. And after a long fight together with Tyrion, Arthas was finally defeated, and thus the entire storyline, which was one of the most important storylines in the entire Warcraft universe, finally ended.
King rules forever, my son.
I see only darkness before me.
And lastly, number 1, Ulduar. Now, the reason why this is number 1 on the list is because it matches all of these qualities that I've considered for this list. So mechanics, atmosphere, and the lore, and also the receival of the community. Now, it came out in a patch during Wrath of the Lich King expansion, and soon it turned out to be, as a lot of people call it, the peak of the World of Warcraft raiding. Now, it is an ancient titan complex located in Storm Peaks, and the entire thing is just an addition to the still ongoing story of the Titans and how they got to this world and how they pretty much made this world as it is. Now the raid itself though had multiple bosses, and every boss was just like a completely different thing. Now both mechanics wise and environment wise, and the entire thing felt like a part of something. It wasn't just like one of those raids or dungeons where you just go there, fight bosses, just standing there and waiting for you to attack them, and they aren't really nothing more than just obstacles that you have to complete in order to finish the raid. While in Ulduar it was completely different. I mean, you were fighting all these crazy bosses, these constructs, titan watchers, dragons, and all in their own chambers that matched the entire thing. And apart from that, it felt like it was made for the Titans. I mean, everything in Ulduar was giant, and you had all these massive doorways and walls that made you feel like an ant in the entire thing. And it was just something different and something that wasn't just a weekly grindfest, and hopefully there will be raid like this in the future of the game that will be able to actually match the greatness of Ulduar.
Bran Bronzebeard's forces assaulted the gates of Ulduar. They battled the Iron Lords and their cursed minions.
Evasive action! Evasive action!
He won't stop talking about this presence he felt, permeating the great halls, stirring in their minds, chilling their blood. He said, the horror that the Titans imprisoned so long ago, Yogg Saron, has awakened.
So that is all I have for this list. Of course, this doesn't mean that the other raids sucked or anything like that. This is just my opinion on them from my own perspective. But anyways, which raids do you like the most and you thought were the best ones in the game? And also give some